about the test sample drained soils, okay? Does anybody know what this is? Rosa, don't say.
It's zucchini that someone didn't pick.
This is a loofah.
Loofah, I use it.
This is what people, this is a little chunk like this costs you $6 at Whole Foods to scrub your dishes, to scrub your body. When I was little, at my dad's ranch, they used to grow these, and he would give me a piece, and I'm like, what the heck is that? I'm not gonna scrub myself because, you know, I was a city girl. But now it's so invaluable. It is so invaluable. And so what I use this for is to scrub my vegetables, to scrub my skin, scrub my dishes, scrub my face very lightly, and so on. So this is a loofah.
That's how they grow?
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, they take up a lot of space.
They do.
So
It's a cousin of the squash family, the cucurbit family.
Very
So
close cousin.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grow one. I'm gonna test. I'm gonna grow one for me, one for the bird, and one for the insect. So I'm gonna grow 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna put a trellis here, probably because they get to be. I heard that they get to be as tall as even the poles, the city poles. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to keep it low, like the tomato, so it won't get crazy. Or if it does, you know, it'll come down. This, you guys were here when we saw the little loofah over there. Remember that? Yeah.
When do you put the trellis in? Right away?
Good question. When do you put your trellises in? The day that you transplant your tomato, or the day you put your seed in is the day that you should put your trellis in. Okay? So you won't disrupt the soil or other plants next time. Can you hold on to this? Thank you.
And there's seeds in here.
Yay! So we're gonna harvest some seeds from there. Thank you. Okay.
We grew it in Josh's backyard last year.
Okay. I'm gonna take a soil sample from one of the. What is this?
Square feet.
Good. A square foot. I'm going to take a sample from the square foot. Why do you guys think I'm going to take a sample?
Test the soil.
Just to check. I want to know what kind of soil this is. Okay? I want to see what textures are in this soil so that you guys can visually see what textures look like. We're going to dig about 1 foot deep. Okay? Now, this is going into soils. Let's say Rosa wants to grow in a plot like this. She has access to land like such, but she doesn't know what was grown, what was put into the soil, and so on. So the first thing that I would ask Rosa to do is test your soil. And I'll be giving you guys that information in a little bit. Test your soil to find out if there's lead, magnesium, or other types of minerals that are not safe for our health. And these are the instructions that the test labs ask you to do. Is go 1 foot to 2 feet low or deep in your soil, and then you're going to send the test sample into the lab. Okay? But in this instance, we're not going to send it off. I'm going to show you what textures look like through this glass. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig as deep as I can. Okay. And now, open this up. I'm going to get a couple of handfuls.
But that's the soil you added to the bed, right? It was not the soil that came with the plot, with the land.
No, exactly. But that's okay, because you can still test it. You can send it off, and we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Okay? So the next thing I want to do is, Rosa, ¿me pones agua aquí, por favor? We're going to fill this up to about right here. Okay, we're going to shake it, and then in 2-3 hours, we're going to come back and talk about soils and the textures of soils. Now, what is this texture soils Millie is talking about? Well, Sirena lives in El Sereno, which is a couple of miles away from here, so their soil texture is very different from our texture here in Highland Park.
Lots of clay.
Lots of clay. Now, those of us that live on the west side have very sandy soil because they live next to the beach. And we water different textures very differently. Very differently. So that's why I want to teach you guys soils first, and then we're going to talk about irrigation next.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so
Millie, what kind of soil do you have in your garden?
in my garden, we're going to talk about that, and your cameras are going to have to be off. Not now, Jason. Later, when we talk about soils. So I've gotten a really good shake, and now we're going to let it rest right here for about 2 hours because I want all of this, maybe some more water. Yeah, we're going to let it settle so you guys can see what clay looks like, what sand looks like, and compost looks like.
I know mine stays. Yeah. And then eventually just falls across. It's like all smooth. Sandy. Penetrate that. Very hard.
Okay, shake, 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 shake. We're going to leave it right here for about 2 hours. Okay? Okay. Now, let's talk about compost. Everybody have their notepads? No. Okay, let's go back to the center.